guys, I'm excited to be back. I was away for a little bit, which I'm sure you knew. I went to Austin for a little bit and now I am back. So I'm excited to sew with you today. So let me know when you're here. Guess it's probably going to be a minute. There we go. Some people are hopping on now. So make sure you check in with me. I am just going to quickly share this video and give people a second. Good morning, Kay. Give people a second to hop on since it's been a minute since I've been live. So I was in Austin and that was super fun. Had a great time. And, but now I'm ready to be back. And of course, my kids got me sick as soon as I got home, which is always the way. Hi, Donna. I don't know if you guys have that same problem, but yeah, I got home and they got me sick. So, good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Catherine. So, yeah, I'm excited to get sewing with you. Hi, Karen. Yeah, I missed you guys too. I was like, on Friday, I'm like, oh, I know I should be doing something right now, but I don't know what. So yeah, it was sad, but sorry, I'm just gonna quickly share this. I'm not in my normal groove, so it might take me a quick second. But today, I'm excited. We're gonna be making a quick tote, and it's quicker. The blog post that I linked is a little bit quicker than what we'll do. I think we'll add some fun details, and I'll show you a few more tricks that are in the blog post, but I've linked the post in the description of this video so that you can find it, so that if you want to refer to it, and if you want to pin it, that would be super. You should go pin it so then you can find it later, and all of your friends on Pinterest can find it too. So that's what we should do. Yes, Cindy, I wasn't here last week. I've only been off for 1 week, but because I was in Austin, which was super fun. It was a really cool town. So many really fun things to do there. But yeah, I came home to just rain. All it's been doing is raining since I got home. So that's not fun. Not my favorite. The rain is not my favorite. So I have one more place to share it to, and then I'm ready. And then we'll get started. One more place. So, let me make sure this goes, and then I'm going to be ready. Okay, got that. So, today we're going to make a tote, and like I said, I've linked the post that where I shared the full tutorial. So if you're more of a reader, hey Gina, hey, if you want to read it, you can grab the link in the description of this video. You might have to click read more. I wasn't real wordy, so there's not too much there, but I'm going to show you the different supplies that we're going to need, and then we'll get started. So this is just faux leather. We're going to make our own straps because you guys know I'm not making straps if I have to turn them. So we're doing this instead. This is just faux leather, and these are 30 inches long and 2 inches wide, and I've got 2 of them. So that's going to be what we're going to use for our straps. You could use like webbing if you wanted it to be, if you didn't want to have like a faux leather strap, you could use webbing. You could make it out of fabric, which I won't be showing you how to do. You can make them out of fabric, which is very similar to what we're doing with these, but then you just have to turn them out, which is not happening. You can go back and find when it took me like 45 minutes on a video to do that if you're interested. Good morning, Elsa. So that's what we're going to use for straps, is just these 2 strips of faux leather. It's kind of a camel-y color. I'm kind of obsessed with this color. And then we need 4 pieces of fabric, 2 pieces for the outside and 2 pieces for the inside, but this is actually reversible. So make sure that you like both pieces, because you'll be able to turn it around, turn it out. And so I've got 2 of this piece, 2 of this type of fabric, which is 15 by 18. And all the pieces measure the same. And then I've got 2 of this. I think we've used the flamingo before. And this is also 15 by 18. Good morning, Tracy. So we've got 4 pieces that are, well, actually I didn't cut this one. This is just one long one, 15 by 36. So you don't have to cut it if you don't want to. But I did cut the stripe because I wanted the stripes to line up. Then I'm going to use, you can use your iron. I've got my Easy Press here. So, which I really like using, and I'm excited because now I don't have to use that ugly towel. Now we have a pressing mat that comes with, that you can get for the Easy Press. So I'm excited about that. So I can just do it right here in front of me and not have to go to my ugly ironing board. And then, you know, my good old go-to, my clips. And the last thing I want to show you, which I should have had ready and I didn't, is is the walking foot, which I've already got on my machine, but I'll take it off so I can show it to you guys if you're not familiar with a walking foot. And here's my thing. I'm like, where is it? Good morning, Rachel. I'm so glad. Thanks for being here. So you guys know you can always go, if you want to see previous videos, you can just go on, if you go to Sew with Alicia on Facebook, along the left side it'll say videos, and then you can see all the videos I've ever done. We started live videos I think back in September, so you can scroll down and see them all. You could watch for hours, for days, because we've done a lot. So so this is our walking foot, and this is what it looks like. This is what it looked like for my machine. I think they all look pretty similar. If you don't have a walking foot, you can go on Amazon and just search walking foot for the machine you have. So like, good morning, Anna Paula. Search walking foot brother or walking foot Janome or whatever you're using, and it'll pop up the ones that will work for your machine. I think this works for the brother, Janome, and the Singer machines, so they're very similar. But this is what it looks like, and you definitely want to use the walking foot when you're making, which I lost apparently, when you're making your straps, because I have a picture I can show you that I'll upload in the comments of. I'll have, I tried one of these because I wanted to see how it went without a walking foot. It's horrible. Like, it was bad. I'll upload the photo. So you definitely, I wanted to be like, well, do you need the walking foot? But you do. You definitely want the walking foot for this. So here is what a walking foot looks like, and I'll show you how to install it. It's pretty simple. I'm going to just scooch my camera down so you guys can see me, and I'm going to turn my Easy Press on so that it can get warm. Hi, Vicki. So let me scooch the camera. Make sure you can see what we're working on here. There we go. I think maybe it'll come up a touch. It doesn't want to come up too much. There. I think that's good. Good? Okay. Just want to make sure you guys can see what we're doing, but I wanted you to be able to see my face for a minute too. Yay! I'm glad you're here, Andrea. Okay, so let's just quickly install. I'll show you how to do the walking foot. So the things you need to watch out for are, oh, there we go, we're back. Okay, this bar here is where we're going to install our walking foot, and this guy goes over that bar. And then Shelby, we are making a tote today. So you're just going to make sure that that bit goes up over, good morning, Linda. Good morning, Nardine. That bit goes up over that bar. And there's another white section that goes around the screw, and then you just screw it in. So it's very similar to installing anything else. You just want to make sure that that white kind of horseshoe U shape goes around this bar up top here. So there we go. Okay, I feel like we're crooked. Are we crooked here? There, is that better? Okay, so now we've got that installed, so we're ready to use that. And you can just keep it on for the whole tote, even though we don't necessarily need it for the fabric bits. It works just fine. You just can't backstitch, so you'll just want to turn your thing around and do it, and then turn it and do it, if that makes sense. So we'll start with our handles. And you can, so I cut these to 2 inches and I'm just going to fold them. So I'll have one edge that looks kind of like this, which I'm okay with. You could cut it so you have both, oh, it's hot. So both edges are the same, but I just don't mind. And you can also use, you could use like a Sharpie or something to color this if you don't like that white look. It doesn't bother me. So I'm using a pink thread to like, whoop, there we go. I'm using pink to offset because I'm using the pink fabric. You could use a brown to blend in or a white, but I like the pink because it like makes it custom to the bag, right? It's like, oh, it really goes. So I like that. So I'm just going to fold it over, and it doesn't stay super well with pins, but I'm just gonna, you could clip, I mean, I don't want to pin it. You could clip it, but it doesn't stay super well. So I'm just going to fold it in half and like really press with my fingers to try and get that to stay in place. And then we can clip it closed. So I went through all of my blog posts and I've recategorized them because I really wanted to have like a 15-minute series where anything that's in that category takes 15 minutes or less. So this is one of those, but I will say that doesn't really include cutting time. So depending on how long it takes you to cut this bag, and when I'm not talking through it all, it'll definitely take me longer than 15 minutes because I'm talking. It should take you about, I mean, I don't think it'll take you much more than 15 minutes. You could use tape, yes, on this. I'm just folding it in half, clipping it in place. Good morning, Terry. These are my Wonder Clips. I'm not sure what Bulldog clips are. But sure. I mean, I'm supposed, if they're a clip, you can probably use them. I just don't like to make holes in my faux leather because it doesn't recover as well as the, as fabric does to a hole. That's what I found. So, I just clipped it to hold it steady in place. And you can do the same with the second one. But let's get it going. I'm just gonna use a straight stitch, and I'm gonna try and stitch as close to this edge as possible. So, and remember, we have our walking foot on. Oh, thank you. I went to a place in Austin. So if you live in Austin, you should go to this place. It's called Cute Nails. It was adorable, and I loved it. I went with a friend. You can see on Instagram the photo of the place. It was so cute. Like the whole outside was like pastel rainbows, and inside was amazing. Like they had a theme, and they went with it all the way. Like the brand was all there. I loved it. It was really super cute. Oh yeah, like the binder clips is what, Nordine, yeah, you could use those. That'd be fine. So, okay, so I'm just going to sew this in place. I've got it super slow. I don't really want it that slow. But the walking foot is great because, oh, hold on, I got stuck there. Because it feeds the top and the bottom, which is awesome. And which is definitely needed with this faux leather. Real leather too, I would assume you would probably need a walking foot. I've never actually, have I sewn with real leather? Not that I know of, because I'm cheap and I don't so much, you know, have any desire to use real leather. And you can hear the walking foot's a little bit squeaky. Oh, do you? Am I a pinky sewer? No one's ever mentioned it or noticed it, but maybe I am. It's less likely to get sewn over if it's over here, right? I won't say it, but I'm super paranoid about sewing over my fingers. I don't want to jinx myself. You do need to get a walking foot. you can definitely get, Tracy, you can definitely get some good already made handles. And I did mention that in the blog post. You can find handles that are pre-made. You can find, even just use a coupon at Joanne, for the purse handles, for pre-made purse handles. Yeah, find a bag at the store that is a couple bucks and just rip at the secondhand store and just grab the handles off of it. So those are all things you can do. I'm definitely open to all the different options. I also have a Teflon foot, but I like this walking foot just as well. The Teflon foot has a little roller on it that's meant, I think it's actually meant for like faux leather and leather type of things because it rolls. It's nice. And then I'm just going to throw this one. Deborah, I don't know if you can. I would just, like I said, go on Amazon and search. I almost said Google. You can't Google on Amazon, right? Just go on Amazon and search Bernina walking foot. And, oh, your Teflon foot doesn't have a roller? Mine has a roller. Search Bernina walking foot on Amazon and see what pops up. Because lots of the generic ones, they'll pop in whichever machine it works for. And then just make sure, make sure it's like one of the Amazon Prime ones so that you can return it if it doesn't work. I know feet can be so pricey. That's why I try and like yes, a Teflon foot is nice, but the walking foot works just as well for me. And I mean, I don't need all that many things, right? We have so many, and we can spend so much on sewing gadgets. So if you can use a more, if you can use a more versatile foot for all of the things, I would prefer to do that, you know? So the walking foot is super versatile. It's great for minky. It's great for this faux leather. So really, it's one of the only, I would say I use 3 feet. And you can correct me if you've ever seen me use anything else, which I don't think you have. I use my zipper foot, I use my regular 1/4 inch foot, and I use my walking foot. And that's it. So those are the 3 that I like to use. But if you're doing, I mean, if you'll use it and you're gonna, you know, like say for a business and you're gonna make a ton, like with it, and you think you'll use the Teflon foot or whatever specialty foot, that works too. So you see, I didn't clip this one. It's just a little more chance that I'm gonna mess up. So especially if you're new, I think you should definitely clip it. But I don't know. You know me, I'm weird about, I don't want to make you sit and watch me do the things that are so simple, that take kind of a long time, even though I think you should definitely do them, like clipping and pressing. Always clip, always press. Just don't press this. Don't press the faux leather. You can hear this foot is so much louder. I hope you can still hear me. Yes, Cindy, it's whatever works best for you. If the walking foot, you have it and it works, I don't see any reason really to get anything else. But if the walking foot doesn't give you the results you want, then definitely try out different feet. It's all about what works best for you. I like my walking foot, so it works out for me. Oh, I know, I turned you on too soon. My easy press is like, I'm turning off because I don't want to burn the house down. Thank you. It didn't actually say that, but I'm going to pretend like it did. Okay, and then what I did on the blog post, and I definitely think you should do, but is I sewed one down here too, just to give it that even look, so you don't have, why is it so dark right there? So that you have a line on either side. It's kind of, it makes it look a little more cohesive. Yes, everybody's better, except for me. I'm the one with a cold now, but everybody else is good, but they're on spring break, so I was like, sorry guys, you're gonna have to watch TV for a minute. So I'm not gonna sew the other edge, but I think you should do it on here. I'll show you on the finished one that I have here, that I've sewn both sides. You can see, and it makes it, I just like the way it looks with the sewing on both sides, and it presses down that folded edge. So this is what it will look like when you sew both sides, and I like that. I think you should do it, if you can see. So that's what you should do, but we're gonna move on to the next bit. Okay, so we've got our 2, and remember these are 30 inches, so I like that length for going over my shoulder here for the tote. You could do them shorter if you wanted. If you wanted to do just handles, you could do like half of it even, just for a handled tote. So that's how you make the straps. And in that blog post, there's a link to the blog post where I specifically talk about straps, and there's another strap in there, in that strap post, about, that's kind of fun, that's meant to go on the outside, that you don't tuck the ends in. So we're ready. Now let me turn this on again now that I'm ready to move on to our fabric. So while that warms up really quick, let's just talk about, if you're using a stripe, I want you to, when you're cutting, I want you to just fold it, imagine this isn't cut yet, fold it and then cut them together so that you keep, hi Kim, so that you keep the stripes together, okay? So that way, like, imagine this wasn't cut, you would have the stripes here like this, then you cut all around, and then cut them apart, and you have the 2 that are the same. Because we don't want the stripes lining up funky, like, you know, not the same. So that's how I've cut this, is I folded it and cut it all together, cut the square all together, so then my stripes are just the same. And for these, I don't care if it lines up as much, because it's not quite, it's stripy, but it's not quite as important that it line up perfectly. So I've just cut it into one big thing. So what we're gonna do is, I just want you to find the top. So I'm gonna do the top, what did I do? I'm gonna do the light pink on the top on this one, because I did the dark pink on the top on my blog example. And this is exactly the same fabric as I used in the example. So the top 2 edges, we're just gonna press the edge under by 1/4 inch. Okay? And you could skip this and do the next step first and then do this step if you want. I'll show you the difference. Why don't we do it on the flamingo and not on the pink, and then I'll show you what the difference is. It's a little bit easier to press when it's alone like this, freestanding, than if you've already sewn it, but we'll do both. No, I didn't turn the straps because I'm already done. No, they're just faux leather, so they didn't have to be turned. So I'm going to show you the two different ways and the way they turn out. This way is the quicker, I think, and but you can do it the other way as well. So I'm just gonna, and you can use your sewing gauge that we used last time. Press the top edge under by about 1/4 inch. Do a little finger press so that you have it lined up, and then just press that edge down and hold it for a second. I like this new mat that they've got here. It's weird how so they updated the app, so the comments, so there's like a weird white line right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's weird when you can see the comment above, but it's just a white line. Like, go away. I don't like that. It's kind of strange. Sorry, that was random. I'm just like, what is that? I keep wanting to clean my screen because there's this weird white line. I do like my Easy Press mat. It's so nice. It stays really hot, which is, I mean, I think that's the point, is it holds the heat, so you don't lose a lot of heat from your Easy Press, but oh, the mat gets hot. I'm like, ow, it's hot. Don't put your hand down on it after you've been using the press, because But that's the point, right? We want the heat. That's what we want it for. So I've just pressed that edge under 1/4 inch, and then keep it just folded in half or keep them lined up, and then you can use that other one. Oh yeah, it's worth it because let me see, because it's definitely better than the towel I was using, and I just hate ironing boards. Am I the only one who just I really detest the ironing board? I don't know, just can't stand it. Okay, so I need to, which you remind me, I need to add that easy press to my shop so that it's easy to find, my Amazon shop, which, by the way, I linked my Amazon shop at the top of the blog post if you go to the post for this. Yeah, it only does that. Why is it? Hold on, it's like, oh, it went way down. It's like, it's not working. It only does that white line, like when there's a comment above that's just a little bit wonky. We're making a tote. It's just a really easy reversible tote. It'd be perfect for like library books, or throwing some stuff in to go to the beach, or just running around. If you don't want to do a full diaper bag, you can just throw a few pacifiers and some diapers in. It's just a really basic tote, and I like it because it's easy to like customize. You could embroider before you put the tote together. You could add vinyl or iron on. The press, I want to say it's like $139. Which is about the price of a good iron, right? So we've just pressed these two edges under, so now our top edge is nice and okay, it's good now. Yes, the Easy Press is so nice. It's great for the heat and bond if you use heat and bond. Yes, the press it's super even heat. Like you can see, the temperature is 330 and it'll stay at that, especially if you use the mat. Like when you use oh, that's hot on my face. When you use like a towel, it wasn't quite staying as hot, which is why they got the mat. And then an iron, if you like shoot the iron with a heat sensor, it's just different all over the iron. It's not the same temperature. So this is perfect for iron on and things that require a specific temperature. Okay, so we've got that top pressed down. You guys got me talking today. I'm easily distracted, like squirrel, squirrel. So we've got that one ready. All we're going to do is sew around the 3 edges, and you don't necessarily have to sew around this one, but why stop really, since this is already put together. But we'll assume you didn't cut it as one piece. So I'm going to sew around the side, bottom, up, and leave this that we just pressed open. And then if you saw my Instagram story today, then you saw I had some tips for sewing with these with stripes. So what I want you to do is I want you to line up the edges of the stripes first. Like, don't worry about the four corners. I want you to just line it up right here on the stripe and pin the clip there. And the same with this. So I'm gonna because that's what I'm really worried about with the stripy bag, is I want my stripes to line up on the side, because when I'm carrying it around, that's what's going to show, right? So that's what we're going to do. And you'll see that might make it so that it's not completely even. Like you can see I've got a little bit here, but that's okay. We can figure that out later. We can't make the stripes even later. This is our only chance to make the stripes even. So do that first, and then we can square up or whatever we need to do after the fact. And I mean, we've got a little bit here that's not quite even, but like I said, that's just all right by me. It's fine by me right now. So I'm only clipping on the stripes. Okay, so like that, and the same with this. The pink is my top, so I'm going to go around these 3 edges. And if it's a little crooked, no big deal. I'm just gonna keep my seam even, and then we can square it up. I'm not even gonna square it up. It'll be fine. I mean, we're barely crooked. If you keep your seam even, you're not even gonna notice. See that? See there? It's not, you're not even gonna notice. If it's way off, you can square it before you sew. But mine's not. So I'm gonna keep my walking foot. You don't have to. You can use a regular foot if you wanna switch out. But I'm gonna keep my walking foot just because it's easier and I don't wanna switch out. And I'm gonna go back in with, you know, you can do quarter, half an inch. I'm gonna do, I guess it's about half an inch is what I'm gonna do. And so if you're using your walking foot, I want you to just start and like, we can't go backwards because it's a walking foot. So I'm just gonna turn my piece around and go this way. And then I'm gonna turn around again and go back. And that gives us that back stitch to keep everything in place, okay? So I'm not using interfacing on this one just because it's a quick, easy tote. You definitely could. It would be super easy. You could iron some interfacing on before you start sewing. Just iron it on. I would do it on this inside lining. So you could definitely do that. I'm not this time. So it won't be as sturdy. Like it won't, I wouldn't, you know, throw like a zillion books in it because it won't be as stable, but it's great for just a few things for running around and running to the beach with a towel and a book and some sunscreen or whatever. Make a custom sleepover bag for the little one, something like that. It's a nice, quick, easy option, and I wanted to make sure that it was quick and accessible, and I feel like interfacing can be so intimidating. I don't know if it's just me. Does anyone else like find interfacing to be totally intimidating? Like there's like 8 zillion kinds. I mean, we could dive into interfacing, but I'd rather just do it this way for this quick, easy tote. Yes, I would definitely do interfacing if I was going to add pockets. And I like my Heat and Bond interfacing. They have lots of good weights, and that's what I like to use. So, yeah, so I like my Heat and Bond for stabilizing, but there's a zillion kinds. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. These clips are called Mini Wonder Clips. And like I said, if you click on the blog post in the description, right at the top there, I've put my Amazon store and you can find it right there. This packet that I've got of a bunch. You'll order the big one because I promise you're gonna, if you order just the 20, I ordered the 20 and then I'm like, I totally should have just ordered the big one when I started. Because, yeah. I use them like crazy, and then my kids tend to run off with them and I run out of them and things fall on the floor, and then so I definitely recommend the big one. So that's what we should do. Yes, I'm using a pink. Can you see? I'm using this pink for my thread on the top and bottom. Make sure you're using the same, always use the same brand and weight for both. Like you could use a different color, but make sure that it's the exact same. Like if you're using cotton, make sure you're using 100% cotton, you know, the same weight on both the top and bottom. But for stuff like this, I mean, there's really not much reason to use different colors, except for when you get to the last step, I guess you can use a different color, because we'll go through both. So my sewing machine is a Brother CS6000i, and it's awesome because it's got the foot free. You can just do it with your hands. If you're doing it this way and you've pressed everything under, make sure you go back and forth, okay? Even though you're using the walking foot, just flip your piece back and forth because you want this seam to be nice and secure where we've done it, because we don't want it to pop back open. So make sure you do that if you've done it in this method. Okay, so we've sewn all the way around our 3 sides. We've got our one side open. And now we're just going to, let me find my scissors. Okay, I'm done. You can be done. Okay. It yells at you a lot. So if you're lonely in your sewing machine, just turn this on. It'll talk to you all the time. In your sewing room, not in your sewing machine. I don't know what I'm talking about. So the corners, I like to do this where I just kind of trim at a diagonal, both sides. Oop, sorry, that coffee's kicking in. Just like that. So we've taken off a lot of the bulk, but we haven't cut up to the seam. I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. 4 corners, not of that one piece, of this and that. Okay, and usually I would say we don't need to turn the inside piece out, but for this one, we are going to, you want to turn this out and make sure the corners are nice and turned because it's reversible. So it's a little more difficult if you've already stuffed it. So this is my lining piece. So I'm just going to press the corner out. Even though this is my inside lining, I'm still going to make sure the corners are nice and turned. Because if you don't, when you turn it out, when you use it the other way, they'll be kind of, you know, in, and you don't want that. So we've turned those out, and then just keep it the wrong way. Keep it inside out once you've turned the corners out. And this is fine, just let them hang out. You don't have to pull them back out. Then for our main piece, we're going to turn it out as well. Corners again, I'm using my little purple thing. If you guys have one of those, I use this thing all the time. And I like to use a square end because then it doesn't really poke through. Like this can poke right through your seams, but the square end is nice and you can get that nice corner there. I mean, you could, I guess, tack them together if you wanted. I don't really ever do that. I don't really see much purpose, but you could technically, I guess, you could open it up and sew along the bottom seams. Make sure the seams are together and sew along that, but it's just one more seam. And I mean, really, I've never had a bag come apart on me when if I didn't tack them together. Does that make sense? So, so I'm just going to stuff this in. You don't have to pull those corners out. Where we are going to focus is these seams, okay? So right here, I want this side seam to line up with this side seam. And remember, we didn't press this one under. If you had already pressed it, then you would line them up together. I want you to just open the seams like this. Now's a good time to trim up the extra threads. Oh, come on, there we go. Open the seam, and then you're going to line it up here with this, which you're going to just by hand press under. Turn under about 1/4 of an inch. And the good thing is now we can just line it up and mark it with the flamingo. So line up those 4 right like this. So I've got my flamingo opened, and then this is pressed under. It will give us a little nicer finished edge here. If you didn't do that, you would kind of be able to see some of this when you were done. So I'm just gonna line these up. Yes, I was just thinking about that, Kirsten. Yes, it's on my list. I was just thinking about doing one of those. And I've got the supplies and everything. And I was even looking at the fabric for it. So, I haven't forgotten you. The wet bag is coming, I promise. So I'm just gonna pin right there. Those are the 2, that's the spot that I wanna make sure stays in place, right there. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So, and when I haven't pressed, I like to kind of like do this to make sure I'm even, and that'll kind of get my seam turned under where I want it. And then I'm gonna line that up with that second side, which I'm gonna press open with my fingers. My dog is like having a breathing fit. You can hear him grunting. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna just line those 2 up. A wet bag is like a bag, like you throw your swimsuit in, or like dirty like baby clothes if they had an accident type thing. So it's got some waterproof fabric on the inside and potentially the outside. So you can put your wet things in it. Just what it says, wet. Okay, so we've got those 2 things in place. Now we're going to just kind of line up the edges, and you can just give them a finger press for now, just to keep them. Good morning, no problem. You can share this and then you'll be able to find it later. So if you guys, I guess I haven't mentioned it yet, if you share, then you can, it's easily found on your timeline, because sometimes it's kind of hard to come back, you know, because if you're just scrolling and found me, it's hard to find it again because your feed will change the next time you come on and it will be gone. Have you ever done that where you're like scrolling and you leave it on something and then you get out of the app or whatever and you come back and you're like, oh, I want to watch this, and it like refreshes and it's gone, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know where that was. So if you want to avoid that, just share this video and then it'll be on your timeline and you can go straight there and find it, because that happens to me all the time. I'm like, I should have saved it. Or you can click save. That would also work. If you just hit save, then you'll have it for later too. Uh-oh, I hear tiny feet. It's spring break here, so. Okay, so then we're gonna take our first handle, and you could totally do this very scientifically and measure a specific amount, but I have it on my thing. I'm gonna do it. So it's on the 4-inch mark here. And then I'm just gonna clip both times here. And then I'm gonna make sure it's on the 4-inch mark here. And make sure that, what was I gonna say? Make sure something. Oh, that your handle is straight. That your handle isn't turned. Okay, so make sure that it's straight and not like twisted, because you're not gonna be able to go back once you've done this. So I still use pins, I still have them, but for stuff like this, it's just so much easier. I've been using these for a while now. I mean, 4 or 5 months, I think. So this is what the front will look like, if you can see. So I've got it pinned. I've got the edge folded under. You can pin as much as you need to. If you want to pin the 2 sides or clip, I always say. And I still act like I pin, because I always say that. I'm done with this, and it's like making me hot. So the handles was faux leather, which you can find it linked in the blog post about making the handles. I've linked where I've gotten it on Etsy. Now, so for the second one, you can just use the other one as your guide, so you don't have to really measure. So what you want to use the other one as your guide because you want them to line up, right? And be even. So I'm just lining it directly over that one, and then I'm going to clip it in place, like so. Oh my gosh, my dog is driving me crazy. And then I'm just making sure they're the same length here as well. Whoop. And then I'm going to clip that in place too. And just clipping to make sure it all stays in place. So now this is what we have. Should look like this. We've got the top all the way pinned around. All right, our lining is pinned to the front and all of it is pinned to the handles. And we're ready to sew it in place. We're keeping our walking foot because it's helpful with these different layers. And the only thing I would say is make sure that you sew, wherever you start, make sure the handle is out of the way. So you're not going to sew over your handle if it's like this. Yeah, the seam is the right way on the inside and the seams are lined up here. So the fabric is outside, right side out, and right side out, and you're just closing it here. So we won't be turning it out. It'll be done once we've finished these seams. And I like to go around twice. I just like the way it looks a bit more. Oh, shush. Okay. So I'm just going to start here. And again, I'm just going to use a straight stitch. You could use a decorative stitch if you want. I'm stuck on the pin. I was like, I'm stuck on something. The seam. Oh, yeah, the seam on the handles, they both face in. So the white part will both face in. The reason I'm using my walking foot is I'm lazy and I used it for the handles and I didn't want to switch. So you could go back to your 1/4 inch foot. It would totally work. The walking foot just happened to be on and there's no reason not to use it. It gives a nice even feed. So that's why I'm using it. And I like to finish a project and not be fussing around with, there we go, that pin was in the way, fussing around with my foot all the time. So again, I want you to go back and forth just to make sure the seam stays in place. And with the walking foot, it's harder. So if you wanted to switch back, this step would be easier for sure. Alright, and just keep that seam in place. I do love my walking foot. I use an all-purpose Gutermann, like polyester. That's my go-to thread. I'm really all about whatever works best for you and your machine, because, you know, not all machines are created equal. Even, like, not all brother machines are created equal. Do you think the clips are more work? I don't know. The clips I don't find to be more work, and I mean, because technically you should be taking the pins out anyways, right? So if you're sewing over the pins, maybe it's more work, but if you're taking your pins out, it's about the same, and it saves me some blood loss. I'm not getting my bloody fingerprints on the flamingos, because maybe it's just me, but I poke myself on the regular with the pins. They're mean. Pins are mean. They're nasty. Okay, that's my personal grudge against pins. I really like the clips. They're a game changer for me. They work really well. They hold it in place really well. The fabric's not moving around. I find with the pins that my fabric still moves. You know, so I really like. It's a personal preference. I'm all about whatever works best for you. I think I've already said that a couple times today. But whatever works best for you. I'm totally gabbing and not making a super straight line. So don't talk while you're doing it because you get easily distracted. I'm just easily distracted as it is. So there's that. And I guess, I mean, I do have to stop a bit more with the clips to remove them, but it gives me a chance to make sure everything's still where I want it. I don't know, totally a personal thing. The handles were 30 inches, so, and I've got about an inch. So they're about 28 inches is what's showing now of handle. Because I put about an inch in either side. And you can find all the measurements and everything on the blog post that I linked in the description of the video if you're wanting to look back and see the dimensions of the fabric or anything. And that's the great thing about these is that you could really do just about anything as far as the size of the bag goes. If you made it bigger, you would want to definitely add some stabilizer. I wouldn't go any bigger than this without stabilizer. And you can definitely add stabilizer to this size as well, especially if you think it's something that's going to get some heavy use. A stabilizer is always good. But for the sake of not intimidating people and turning people off of making it, we're not using one today, just because it's easy. Okay, I'm all the way around. I'm just going to one more time go back, and since I have my walking foot in, and go back the other way just to secure that seam. Just a little bit. I mean, like 2 or 3 stitches is all you need back and forth, and you'll be sitting pretty. So, I will show you now that we've got this one finished. Let me clip my threads. And the one yesterday I did with where I pressed everything under. So I'll show you the difference of what the outside looks like, and you can decide the finished look that you want. So today we didn't press this under until we sewed it in place, and this is what our seam and our edge looks like. Okay, and on the tutorial on the blog we did press it under, and it this is what it looks like. You have a little bit more separation there. It's just not quite as pretty. So if you want to wait to press the outside piece, that gives it a little bit nicer look. And then on this one too, I decided I went ahead and put in two lines of stitching, just because I think that makes it look a little bit more professional, and it secures the handle a little bit better. So I put a second, if you can see, a second line of stitching there, which you could easily do. So yeah, so that's the bag, and then you can see it's super easy to just turn out and use it the other way, just like this. And then we have our flamingo bag. So it's totally reversible, and yeah, I mean, so technically I guess you could, you know, throw a stitch in the corner here. You could even just do it by hand, throw a stitch here to pin everything together, to tack it all together. But I mean, if you're worried about it coming apart, do it. But I've never really had an issue with, I mean, because the fabric kind of likes itself, so it doesn't really want to come apart like that. Especially when you're using it. And if you've got stuff in it, I really think that it's gonna, I'm not sure what turnout gear is, Linda. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. And then you could like add some stabilizer, add some pockets, just some patch pockets. You could add some inside pockets. There's all sorts of things that you could do to customize it. Embroider it before you put it together. Embroider it after if you don't mind the inside having the embroidery on. Add some iron on. Yeah, throw it in the wash. Go ahead. Is that what you mean, throwing it in the wash without tacking it down? Oh, yeah, make it with whatever you want. Like, you could totally, you know, use old t-shirts, or those are a little bit, t-shirts I find a little bit difficult to work with, so maybe not t-shirts, but definitely, like old flight suits is something I have hanging around, like old military uniforms, just use those, cut them up into the right size, or piece pieces together to make them the size you want it, and then throw them together into a bag. But this is, yeah, this is totally fine to wash. I would probably just hang it to dry. But this I would totally wash on cold and hang dry for the, I mean, you could probably, I don't know that I would dry these handles. If you used a webbing, you could, I don't know about full leather either, because this isn't full leather, it's just faux leather, but I think you can definitely wash it. If you used webbing, you could definitely wash and dry it. If you used fabric, totally wash and dry it, that's no problem. Faux leather. Let me bring you back up real quick so that I can so that you're not talking to my hands only. So you could totally use all the different options. If you're really worried about washing it, yeah, do like webbing. Webbing would work great, and you can throw it in the washing machine, or just a fabric handle that you have to turn out, which, you know, not my favorite thing. So that would be great for washing and easy to wash. Yeah, and this bag would actually be really easy to make as a wet bag. You would just iron on the vinyl before you make it. So if you remember the iron on vinyl that we used, Kirsten, and some of the other tutorials to make it like waterproof, you could do that first. So guys, thanks for being here. Make sure you share this video so you can find it later, because I don't want you to lose it if you're interested in making this. So share it so you can find it. Make sure you follow me here on Facebook, because I'm here every week. I'll be here, I think I'm here next Friday. There's another Friday that I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to another conference in Salt Lake City this time, but I'm pretty sure I'm here next Friday, because I don't think it's till the next week after that. So next week I'll be here. Let's plan on making a wet bag, because we'll definitely do that. We'll make a zippered wet bag. So make sure you follow me. You can turn on notifications so you get notified when I'm live. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Thanks for being here. Bye.